This is probably the first time in all of my kids' high school history that I've genuinely been scared to send my child to school.
This parent didn't want to share her name or go on camera because of her and her son's safety. But her son has told her of more fights happening at the school.
Especially this last quarter, this has not been unusual to hear my son come home and say there were 3 fights at school today.
On Friday, the school's principal sent an email stating, "We have determined that this pattern is coordinated and documented on a set of social media pages created by VRHS students." And on Sunday evening, another email letting parents and students know classes are canceled on Monday.
Anytime I see a school taking action, that's good news.
Susan Payne is the founder of Safe to Tell, an online website and app where people can anonymously report things like bullying, planned school attacks, or dangerous situations.
When kids are crying for help or their behavior is of concern, it's important that we take the steps of prevention and early intervention.
Payne says tips to the organization were up 110% from last year because kids are back in school after the pandemic.
When we see an increased amount of stressors amongst families and children and even school staff, that puts everybody in a higher risk factor. So I think it is concerning to see an increase of suicides and violence across our country.
Payne also says it's important that if you see something, say something, because safer schools mean safer communities.
I'm so thankful that they closed the school, just out of an abundance of caution. I feel like this last quarter, it's definitely been a problem at Vista, and they need to get a handle on it.
Now, I did reach out to the school district to see if some of those threats are credible, but right now we are not getting any answers at this time. Diane.
Well, Ashley, we do know the school is working with the Springs Police Department trying to identify students involved and contacting their parents. And on top of that, they're also restricting cell phone use at schools. So how are parents reacting about that?
Yeah, so one of those parents that I actually spoke to earlier, she told me she actually doesn't agree with that no cell phone policy. She told me she would feel much better if her child did have access to a phone. That way she could check up with her child throughout the course of the day. And some other parents actually told me too that tomorrow and the rest of the week they are planning on keeping their children at home. In Colorado Springs, Ashley Portillo, News 5.